Hello students. So in this lecture we will be talking about the properties of the conductor materials in the presence of static electric fields. So basically materials based on electrical properties can be classified as conductor, insulator and third semiconductors. The only difference between them here to keep in mind is that conductors have loosely bound charges. Loosely or loosely bound charges or free charges. That means the electrons present inside the conductors can easily roam from one atom to another and they form an electron cloud. But in case of insulators, or they are also called dielectrics, these contain bound charges. Or that means each atom can be represented as a dipole. And for semiconductors, they have got free charges but limited number of free charges. So semiconductor is just a midway between the conductor and insulator in terms of the electrical properties. So keeping this point in mind for conductors, since we are talking only about the conductors, so a conductor contains loosely bound charges or called the free charges, and they form the electron cloud over the conductor lattice. See, so this is the lattice of the conductor containing the nucleus. Then the loosely bound electrons form an electron cloud so that they can roam around easily from one atom to another. This is the case for a conductor. Now let us outline the properties of conductor in the presence of electric field, static electric field. In the presence of static electric field. Suppose we have got a conductor slab here. Suppose any electric field is applied to the conductor, what will happen? All the negative charges will get attracted in the direction of the electric field, and all the negative charge will appear at the surface of the conductor in the direction of the electric field, while the positive charges will appear the negative charges will appear opposite to the direction of electric field. The surface opposite to the direction of the electric field, and the positive charges will appear in the direction of electric field. You can write here negative charges because it will be it will have an attractive nature. That is why opposite to the direction of electric field. And for positive charges will appear to the surface in the direction of electric field. Now it will appear in such a way that will cause net cancellation of electric field inside the conductor. What will happen? Now these charges will produce their own electric field. Let us call it as EI. What will happen? At the time will come when the complete distribution of the charges have taken place, then this electric field EI will be equal to the external electric field E naught. So that if this is the E naught external electric field, and in this direction we have got EI, then you can see, since under static conditions both the electric field cancel out each other, hence the electric field goes zero inside the conductor under static conditions, because the induced charges inside the conductor practically cancel out the external electric field, and charges will flow until the cancellation is complete. This takes practically no time. For let's say in case of example of copper, it takes around 10 to the power minus 19 seconds for the redistribution of the charges in the presence of external electric field. So this is very important property. The electric field is zero inside the conductor always in the presence of under static conditions, in the presence of an external electric field. Moving on to the next property. Now since inside the electric field is zero, then suppose there is a point A, let's call it as VA, another point is B, suppose there is potential at these points are VA and VB. This is the about. Now if you want to traverse from this point to this point, then its line integral will be zero because electric field is zero. That means every point inside the conductor has same potential. It has got same potential. Since electric field is zero inside the conductor, hence we can say that it is an equipotential surface. We have already discussed about the equipotential surface. Moving on to property number 3, says that the charge density inside a conductor is 0 always. Suppose since electric field is 0, then if you apply Gauss law, it states that the net electric flux is equals to the charge enclosed. Now, if we consider a Gaussian surface inside the conductor, suppose this is the Gaussian surface. Now, the net electric flux is 0 because the electric field is 0. Then simply that again tells us that then Q enclosed will also go 0. This also implies that there is no charge density inside the conductor. That means the charge density or the volume charge density, any type of charge density will go 0 inside the conductor. Property 4 states that any net charge resides on the surface. Let's say suppose any charge, we have intentionally put any charge, that's a plus Q, we have put inside the conductor. Now what will happen? It will try to attract the negative electrons present inside the conductor. It will try to attract the negative charges inside the conductor. The negative charges will come over here, to neutralize the charge plus Q. In doing so, positive charges will appear here, and these positive charges to have a magnitude which will be equal to the plus Q. Now a time will come that this positive Q charges will distribute at the surface of the conductor in such a way that the net electric field inside the conductor will go 0. That means if any charge is intentionally put inside the conductor, it will immediately come over the surface of the conductor and redistribute itself in such a way so that the net electric field should be 0. So any net charge resides on the surface. You can also write another point. If any charge is put inside the conductor, it will immediately come over the surface of conductor and redistribute in such a way in order to make electric field 0 inside the conductor. This is a very important property. Property 5 states that electric field is perpendicular to the surface and just outside the conductor. If some now we know that conductor is we just proved in property number 2, conductor is an equipotential surface. And as we know, the electric field is the negative of the gradient of the potential, electric potential. Now gradient, as we know that for any equipotential surface, the gradient is always perpendicular. Gradient is perpendicular to the equipotential surface. And since conductor is an equipotential surface, we can say the electric field, suppose some charges are distributed here, it will cause electric field at the surface of the conductor, then that electric field will always be perpendicular to the surface, always. No tangential component. No tangential component of electric field. So we can summarize all the points here. Very important. The electric field is always zero inside the conductor. Note, we can say these 2 points are almost related to each other. Since if there is any charge that must reside on the surface, no charge exists inside the conductor. That is why charge density will always also go zero. Fourth point, electric field is perpendicular to the surface and just outside the conductor. Because electric field is the gradient of the potential, and since conductor is an equipotential surface, the electric field must be perpendicular at the surface of the conductor. Last but not the least, conductor is an equipotential surface. We have just discussed. So let us mathematically derive the conductor and free space boundary conditions. Suppose this is the boundary region between the free space and the conductor. Now we know that the electric field inside the conductor is zero. Keeping this in mind, let us say that there exists an electric field E which has got both tangential component and the normal component. And we are talking about the boundary conditions. What is happening at the boundary of the conductor and free space? Let us say the electric field has got a normal component En, call it, and a tangential component, tangential to the surface, Et. So that the we get the resultant electric field E. Now let us consider a Gaussian surface which is in the shape of a pillbox. And let's say its base area is A. And suppose charges are distributed at the surface of the conductor, and let's say its charge density is called as sigma. Now let us apply, this is a Gaussian surface, let us apply Gauss law here. Then we can write electric field is in the normal direction to this surface, and for this surface the electric field is 0 because this part is present inside the conductor, right? And we are not considering here this part of the curved surface of the Gaussian surface, because the electric field, there is no tangential component of electric field. We will just say that all we are left with this part of the Gaussian surface. Now the electric field is En, and the normal to this surface is just parallel to the normal component of the electric field. Then we can simply multiply it with the area, which is the A, and see the total charge enclosed inside this Gaussian surface. The charge density is sigma, then total charge enclosed must be sigma times of A upon epsilon naught using the Gauss law. Hence we can say that the normal component of electric field is given by sigma upon epsilon naught. And in terms of D, as we know that D is equal to epsilon naught times of E, we can simply write D equals to sigma, the electric flux density. Keeping in mind that we have not considered the curved surface part. The curved surface part is not included because the tangential component is 0. We will just prove why the tangential component is 0. Now let's say we consider this contour. Now let's say ET let's say there exists the tangential component of electric field, call it as ET. Let me draw it here. Now this is the conductor. This portion, this region is the conductor region, and this region is the free space. Let's say this is the direction of the contour. Just call it as A, B, C, D, and let's say this length is delta W and this length is del of H, such that these are very small. Del H tends to 0, del W also tends to 0. Now since we have got two components of electric field, one is the normal component and another is the tangential component. Now we know that since electric field can be represented as a gradient of the scalar, then in an integral manner we can write that the closed contour of the electric field is 0. That means we can simply write, we take the magnitude ET multiplied by del W. Now this portion, if we take this portion, then the electric field is opposite to the direction of the contour, and we can write minus En times of, let's say, del H by 2, because this part, for this part the electric field is 0 because this part lies inside the conductor. That's why we are already only consider the part of the contour which is present in the phase space. And similarly, now consider this contour. Once again, electric field inside the conductor is 0. That is why this contour will also not be included. Similarly, this contour, we are left with this contour. This part, again it will be plus En del H by 2, because now it is in the direction of the contour is in the direction of the normal component, and this must be equal to 0. Now taking the limit, del H tends to 0. Now this will both cancel out to 0. We are left with Et times 2 del W equals to 0. Now this also corresponds to Et is equal to 0. That means tangential component of electric field at the boundary just outside the conductor is 0. So in this case, we found that the normal component of electric field depends on the charge density at the boundary of the conductor, at the boundary region of the conductor. So if no charge exists, this will make electric field, the normal component will also go 0. But the tangential component is 0 always. We cannot have tangential component. The reason also is that conductor is an equipotential surface. If there will be a tangential component, then that will cause unequal potential distribution, which cannot happen under static condition because conductor is an equipotential surface. Finally, we can summarize it. The boundary conditions for conductor and phase space. This is the normal component. We have considered sigma. Let's say rho s is the surface charge density. And the tangential component is 0. Let me call it as tangential, and this is normal components of electric field. Let's see an example. Now question is two spherical cavities of radius A and B. Radius A and B. These are cavities. This space is just vacuum or free space. Two spherical cavities of radius A and B are hollowed out from the interior of the conducting sphere of radius r. This complete sphere is of radius r. At the center of each cavity, a point charge is kept. The point charge is kept here at the center, QA and QB. This cavity of radius A, this is the cavity of radius B. What is the electric field and potential just outside the conductor? Now see, as we know, the property electric field must always be zero inside the conductor. Under static condition. And we also know charges always reside at the surface of the conductor. Now what will happen here? This Q, the presence of QA will attract the negative charges. And similarly, at this cavity B, QB will also attract the negative charges. Such that the net charge inside the conductor must be zero. That means the magnitude of the negative charge, let's say it is Q minus, which is distributed over the surface, that must be equal to QB. The Q minus, similarly, it is called as QB minus. Similarly, the negative charges appearing over this cavity, the inner surface of this cavity, QA minus, this must be equal to QA in magnitude. Or if you write, should be minus QB. So now if you take any Gaussian surface here, let's say if this is the Gaussian surface, it's called S. Then if you apply Gaussian surface theory, E dot ds equal to, epsilon dot E dot ds is equal to Q enclosed. Now here you see Q is total Q inside is QB minus QB equal to 0. Equal and opposite charges are appearing here. Then this property is satisfied. Charges all that makes electric field zero inside the conductor. That means this property is satisfied. Similar will be the case for this cavity. Then where is that all charge QA and QB is going? These both Q and QB are coming at the surface and redistributing itself. The total charge appearing at the surface will be equal to QA and QB, QA plus QB. What will happen is that QB will start attracting the negative charges. These negative charges will try to neutralize QB, and then all this QB will appear at the surface. Similarly will be for QA. So the total charge at the surface will be QA plus QB. In such a way that electric field inside the conductor will go zero. And what is the question is, what is the electric field and potential outside the conductor? Since that now at the surface the total charge is QA plus QB, then if we consider any Gaussian surface outside the conductor at any radius r, then the total electric field will be simply QA plus QB 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, this is question number 1, upon r square simply. Because total charge is simply QA plus QB enclosed. Now what is the electric field within the cavity A? This is the question. Now see what we saw, that this QA has attracted negative charges here to make this cavity neutral. But if you take any Gaussian surface here, inside the inside this surface QA still exists. Then the electric field inside the cavity A, we can simply write it as Q upon, let's say, this is small r, the radius of the Gaussian surface, A. So this is it about conductors. Thank you.